adding or subtracting decimals. And if you're multiplying them,
You want the ladybug on?
oh yes,
Not yet.
but it'll be for later.
Okay.
Thank you. So, do any of you guys, who knows what the difference is if you're going to add or subtract decimals or if you're going to multiply them?
Well, you keep it, right?
Anyone? So, oh, Angeline?
When you add or subtract,
Okay, yeah, it's kind of tricky to remember, but it has to do with the decimals. What are you supposed to do? Oh, yes, Joel.
you're supposed to line up the decimals
For which one?
for adding and subtracting.
Okay. Yeah, so for this one you have to, when you add or subtract decimals, you need to line, you need to line up the decimals when you're doing the operation. So line up decimal. But then when you're multiplying, do you need to also line up the decimals? Or does it not matter? What do you guys think? Who thinks that it doesn't matter? Who thinks that you need to line up the decimals? Actually, for multiplying, you don't need to line up the decimals.
They're all wrong.
Actually, Isaac got it right, but yeah. So that's the thing. That's definitely an important thing to remember. When you're multiplying, you do not need to line up the decimals. And I'll kind of like show you guys an example of why it's so important to line up the decimals for addition and subtraction. So let's say you had a problem that was 300.09 plus 257.1. So if we didn't line up the decimals, and let's say, I don't want to block it, let's say we like put 257.1 right here, right? And we added these, it would like throw it off because what place is this? The tens place, right? But then what would this be in the first number? What place is that?
Or thousands.
Yeah, it'd be the thousands. So you'd be adding a tens to a thousands place, and that wouldn't make sense. It would kind of make it weird. So in order to make this calculation correct and accurate, we need to always make sure that we line up the decimals, because once we line up the decimals, we'll automatically be lining up all the place values. Oops. So, and if we actually did it this way, it would make a lot more sense. Then you go 9, 1, 7, 5, and 5. That would be your actual number, whereas before it would be all weird. Yes?
Didn't you have a .1 right there?
Yeah, there's, oh, yes, sorry, that's the one right here. That's just my messy handwriting, but yes, the one is right here, so I carried it down. But when you multiply decimals, it's kind of different because, so like if you had, I don't know, 7.1 times .05, it makes it easier to just line up the numbers instead of the decimals, just for the sake of doing all the calculations. But then at the end is when you like have to count how many decimal places were in the beginning numbers, and then you have to do that for the answer. Have you guys learned that already? Nope. Oh, okay. Dustin?
Well, after you multiply, so
let's multiply this. So it's 5, 35, and then 0, 0. Sorry, my handwriting.
Okay.
So 355. So how do we know where to put the decimal in our